Good morning to everybody. We are in parashat Ki Tavo. Ki Tavo. We have Ki Tavo. Last week, Ki Tavo, it says, go out on your enemy, and we explained the enemy is Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination, that we have this fight, and God is promising us, especially in this time of Chodesh Elul, get out, do the first step, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you you're going to win the war against Yetzer Hara. And this time it's Ki Tavo. Ki Tavo. And the Torah is telling us, Ki Tavo, 1 minute. Yes, here we are. Okay, this is not 1 minute. Ki Tavo. והיה כי תבוא אל הארץ אשר השם אלוקיך נותן לך נחלה וירשתה וישבת בה. When you come into the land that God is giving you, and לקחת, when you have to take the first of all the fruits of the earth that you're going to bring from the land that God gave, and this is mitzvah bikurim. It's very interesting, this mitzvah, and we have to understand that we have here the outside, the physical side, and the spiritual side. First of all, on the physical side, it's very interesting because this mitzvah is so important that the Rambam, in his law book, he writes a whole story about mitzvah bikurim, which is normally says you have to do this, you don't do this, this is the halacha, and here a whole story. And this story is like showing us something unbelievable, like the description of how they took the bikurim and they were gathering in a place and didn't sleep in a tent, so there was, if Chas v'Sholom somebody's going to die, they're going to have a tameh, and then they walked into Jerusalem, and with trumpets and singing, and with an ox in front, with the decorated. And when they got into Jerusalem, they were going in, and all the people of Jerusalem used to stand at the sides of the way and array, and even the workers stopped their work and did this. And this is very interesting because normally, if you work for somebody, you're not allowed to stop because this is gathered. You're stealing. You have to work. Even they say if you have to say Shema and you're on the tree, you say the Shema on a tree if you work on the tree, and so again and again. For example, if somebody thinks that he, during his job, he's got a job or work somewhere, it doesn't matter. Of course, like to just sit and do nothing, of course, is not allowed. But let's say he wants to go and pray Mincha or Shachrit or Mariv. Is he allowed to? No, he's not allowed to, unless his boss gives him to him. But otherwise, it's kezel. It's taking something. It's not allowed. But here, says the Rambam, when those who brought the bikurim went into Jerusalem, everybody stopped everything and they were cheering to them, and unbelievable. So what is so important about this mitzvah? So let's see. First of all, mitzvah bikurim, this is something that you're working for many, many years, because to get the first fruit on a tree, it's not something that happens in 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or a month, or 2. It sometimes takes years to have the fruit. And after you invested, and you did, and you trimmed, and you watered, and you cut, and we do all the jobs that very hard, and eventually after 4 or 5 years, you have the first fruit. What do you want to do now? First of all, you want to taste the fruit. You worked for it so hard. And what are you doing? You're covering it. This is for bikurim. Wow. This is showing God the untremendous, this is love in the highest level. For example, if you bring your kids, your grandchildren, your children, you bring them a present that they love a lot. If it's a candy, if it's a toy, and normally the kid takes it and starts playing or eating. But imagine to yourself, this is not what he's doing. He's saying, father, grandfather, grandmother, mother, here, the first is for you. You taste it first. You play with it first. For you, it's not a big deal, but for the kid, it's an unbelievable thing. And he gives, the first thing he's giving is to his father, to his mother. Wow, this is love. And this is the bikurim. The first fruit after you worked so hard, you're giving to whom? You're giving to God. Wow. This is bikurim. Then, on top of this, is something else. You know, you worked, you did everything, and you might think, what? I watered the tree, I trimmed it, I did it, I did that for many years. I did it. No, you did nothing. Everything God did. You just did the ishtadlut. And this is something that we have to put in our mind. unfortunately, a lot of times in life, we think that we do, and we do nothing. So this is another thing. When we come to God with the first fruits, we are telling God two things. First of all, the first fruit is to you, our Father in heaven, we love you. And second, you admit, oda'ah, you say, it's everything from you. For example, Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei. Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei, we think that we're asking God, give us this, give us this, give us this. No, we don't, we're not willing and dealing with God. We have to understand it. The whole Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei is admitting that God is giving us all. When we say Refa'enu, we want good health, it doesn't mean we're asking, of course we want to have good health, but we're admitting that the health and everything comes from God. Parnosa, everything comes from God. This is Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei. And by the way, especially now when we pray and daven and understand that everything is from God, and we're asking God, you're the only one that can give it to us. We're also not asking it as the task, as the target. No, it's only a mean to get to the target. The target is getting close to God. This is what we do. And mitzvah bikurim is this unbelievable thing. And this will always remind me of a story that I tell every year. I tell this story. There was this guy, a rich guy, and he had a son. The son was really upside down. What we mean? At night, he used to go and have go to clubs, to discos, to pubs, drink, and did other things, and everything is paying with a credit card from his father. In the morning, he comes back home when his father gets up to work. So his father tells him, what's going on here? So he's what's going on for, and one day, his father couldn't, he said, I'm sorry, this cannot go like this. You cannot live like this. You have to start finding a job, work. What is this? You're sleeping in the day and have fun at night, going to all those places which are not exactly kosher, let's put it this way. Oh, they were shouting at each other. They were hearing the shouting on the other side of the town. And the son says, you know what, Father, I'm leaving home. Take a rucksack, put a few things in, and left home. Where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? So he goes to the park nearby, and he sleeps on one of the benches. So for a whole week, he sleeps on one of the benches. And one day, comes one of his father's friend, and he sees him on the bench, lying down, says, what are you doing here? And he tells him the story there. Oh, you know what? I've got a proposition for you. I've got a place in the basement with a bed, with water, with toilet. You can stay there. I said, but I haven't got money to pay the rent. He says, don't worry. You're going to do a few jobs in the garden, clean a little the house, and this is the payment you're going to pay. He says, well, it's better than sleep in the street. So he went there, and he was sleeping there and working. And then after a few weeks, he says, well, what? I'm a gardener, I'm a cleaner, but that's not a job for me. But he was a very great cook. He used to cook like cakes and patisserie, unbelievable. So there was a conditorry in the end of the street. So he went to the conditor there and says, no, I need a job. He says, you know what? Just last week, one of the workers left. You can take his place. Let's see what you can do. He says, wow, very good. Okay, you've got a job. So he's working in this place, getting a nice salary. And after half a year, he says, you know what? I don't want to work for somebody. I want to be independent. I want to open my own place. So he takes the money and he opens a place with everything in. But, you know, he didn't have a lot of money. So he's opening the place in some street far away, in a corner of something, in an alley, that not a lot of people go there. And what was happening is he cooked all those beautiful things, but there were no customers. Here and there he had a customer, but a month passed, another month, and he saw that if he's going to go on like this, he's finishing all the money that he earned. One day comes in a guy and he asks for a coffee and a croissant. He eats the croissant and says, wow, this is good. Let me taste from this cookie. And he sees, wow, everything he tastes is beautiful. He says, look, I'm a rich guy and I see here a business opportunity. I'm going to invest in you. This place is no place for you. Here, you won't do any business. There's nobody comes here. By accident I came here. No, come with me. I'm going to pay. I'm going to invest in you the money, and you're going to manage the business. I'm going to cook. We're all going to open a shop in the center of town. He says, wow, okay, who is going to know? And it was a big success. And after a year, they opened another 3 places. And another year, and he had $1 million in a bank. Wow, he did a lot of money. He says, now is the time to write my father. Show him. So he writes his father, my dear father, I don't need you. I did it all by myself. I got $1 million in the bank. I've done. After a few days, he gets an answer from his father. Dear son, I want to tell you something. Who do you think came to you when you were sleeping on the bench in the park? A friend of mine. I sent him because I saw what you're doing. I didn't want you to sleep outside. You couldn't get ill. And then I paid for your rent. And then when you were looking for a job, after what you were doing, I talked with the conductor, and I told him that my son is going to come to you. If he comes, I'm going to pay for it. Don't worry. Take him. Give him a job. And then when you opened your shop, your conditorry, that you opened your fancy place in this hall, I knew what's going to happen. And I waited. And then I sent another friend. And I paid him to invest in you, to open the shop in the center of town, etc., etc. So those $1 million, they are not yours. This is the way we act. I did this, I did that, I did that. What did you do? Everything is God doing. So this is exactly the idea of the Bikurim. Bikurim is not only the fruits, it's everything we do. Everything we get from God. Everything we think that we are doing. Business, whatever it is. This is all from God. And we have to put it in our mind to understand and realize. This is Bikurim. Bikurim, by the way, they're asking, what is Bikurim today? So first of all, we are standing now in front of the new year. And what are the fruits? The fruits are the good deeds that we did. In other words, when we come to God, don't go empty-handed. Come with the good deeds you did. And if you didn't do enough, that's now the opportunity. Do as much as you can. And then, when you come to Rosh Hashanah, to Yom Adin, you will come with the fruits of the good things. That's another aspect of the Bikurim. And then, everything that you do, the first thing is to God. For example, you wake up in the morning, what do you say? What do you say? I'm thanking God that I woke up. You take an apple. What's the first thing you say? You bench. Baruch atah Hashem. This is the idea. This is the way to do things. When we give the first thing of everything, first of all, to God, to understand and realize that everything is from God. It's not us doing, it's God doing everything. And then we have another interesting episode, the parashat that we're reading. It says, talking about Lavan Arami, and that went into Egypt and all those bad places that we were, and then we do. Why? Why do we need to say? By the way, say it in the Agadah Pesach. Why do we need to tell this whole story now when we are in such a happiness, bringing the first fruit? Then we have to talk about the past, about bad things that happened to Am Yisrael. Where did we come from? Why? What's the idea? The idea is very simple. In life, you get the fruit. It says, okay, I did it. I don't need to do anymore. It's like, for example, Rav Adam Sina brings an example. Let's say your kid comes home, finishing first grade in school, Kita Aleph, and he comes with a Teudah. Wow, everything very good, good behavior, good marks, everything 10, 10, 10, excellent. So the kid comes, shows his parents, says, wow, and the parents are very proud and very happy. And then he tells them, no, you see, I did it. I don't need to go anymore to school. I know it all. Here, everything is written. 100, 100, mea. Excellent, excellent. I don't need to go to school. His parents don't know what to do. Of course, they're very happy about the achievement, but they know that he cannot now just sit at home. He has to go on to the next stage. So they explain to him, it's not finished. You finish one stage, you have to go now to the next stage. And this is something we have to remember all the time. That it all started in a certain point, and then we got to the matara. We're happy. Remember where you came from. Remember that it wasn't always so easy. You had to build it, and when you build it, you have to understand another thing. It's like The Rav Pinkerson brings this example, the mashal, on a bicycle. When it's hard, no, I'm not talking about the electric bicycle, okay? But normal bicycle that you have to move by yourself, the pedals. And it's very hard. What does it mean? If it's hard, what does it mean? You are going up. Uphill. You're going up. When it's very easy, what does it mean? You're going down. And when you stop, you fall. And that's in business and also, of course, in the spiritual world. When it's hard, there are hard times, you have to understand you are going up. You're walking up, 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 up. You elevate yourself. Wow, best thing. So if we see certain situation, it's not easy. It's hard. We have to understand that this is also a stage to develop ourselves, to go up another stage. If it's easy, it means that we are going down. Because this world, we need to move all the time. And if we stop moving at all, we fall. Like in business, like in a lot of other things in life. And there are so many examples. Toys R Us, for example, there was a few years ago, they were Toys R Us. They had shops all over. And then they saw that they are selling less and less. And then they realized that somebody opened an internet shop, which at that time they didn't have. And he was selling through the internet. And if they would have stayed, we are the big, we got to the goal, there's nobody like us, they would lose the whole business. They woke up very quickly, like we have to wake up from the sound of the shofar, and got up and opened the site on the internet, and Baruch Hashem, they saved themselves. And that's exactly the point. When we bring the fruits, we have to understand that there is another job to do. That is or as long as we're here, we have to go up. And even if it's hard, sometimes it's hard to do it. We have to understand if it's hard, it means that we're going up. If it's too easy, be careful, you're going down. And never stop. We are always to go. It's like, the Rabbi Adam Sinai explained, like a screw. You know, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's all the circle of the year. But it's not a circle, it's a spiral. What does it mean? That like a screw. When you screw, you get always to the same point, but more in and in and in and in. You're digging in, you're going into the inside till you finish the job. That is life. Yes, we come to Rosh Hashanah again, but the meaning of coming to Rosh Hashanah again is to elevate yourself to another level. Go in a little more till we finish our job in this world. So as long as we're here, we bring the Bikurim. Every first thing we bring to God. Say, thank you, God, for what you gave us. And we know that it's all from you. Everything is from you. And also, if sometimes times are difficult, we still can bring the best fruit to you. And this is our job in our life. To realize and understand that we have to move all time. Elevate ourselves. And to understand that whatever we got, everything is from God. All the best, and Bezrat Hashem, let's go with this beautiful fruit of our good deeds into the whole of the new year. Shana Tova.